This arrangement is indicating the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. When the magnet enters the coil, the lines of forces are cut, induced current is generated, and induced current will be responsible for the glow of bulb. So this is depicting the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, that is, rate of change of flux will be directly proportional to induced current. Now again, the water is doing the mechanical work on the magnetic needle. When the needle will rotate, flux will change. Due to change in flux, again the induced current is generated, and that induced current will indicate that the bulb will glow. So in both the cases, we find that Faraday's law of electromagnetic inductions are verified. The rate of change of flux will be directly proportional to induced current. Now, in mutual induction and mutual inductance, these are two different things. Mutual induction is basically a concept, whereas mutual inductance is a constant of that circuit in which the induced EMF is induced. Now, what we have to do in the mutual induction, we have to consider two basic circuits. One is the primary circuit and other is the secondary one. Like in the figure, we are finding that in the primary coil, a key is adjusted along with battery and rheostat. The purpose of the rheostat is to vary the current by changing the resistance. Now, the moment we press the key, the circuit will be complete, that is, the switch will be on. We find that current will flow in the primary coil. This current will give rise to magnetic field, and this magnetic field will give rise to magnetic lines of forces, which will be associated with the secondary coil. The moment flux is associated with the secondary coil, the EMF will be induced in the secondary coil. This induced EMF will give rise to induced current, and galvanometer will start indicating deflection. So now in the context, on changing the current in one coil, if the magnetic flux linked with the second coil changes, as a result of EMF is induced in that coil, then this phenomenon is called mutual induction. We can further increase to the concept that when the circuit is on in the primary, the EMF is induced in the secondary, and when the circuit is open in the primary coil, after induced EMF is produced in the secondary, we find that due to that induced EMF in the secondary, when the circuit is open in primary, another induced EMF will produce in the primary coil. So there will be momentary generation of current in the primary coil the moment we open the circuit. Now, the coil in which current is allowed to flow, that is called primary coil, and what we find is that the secondary coil, the induced EMF will be generated because of the change in flux. So A and B are the primary and the secondary coils respectively.
Next, we are taking electrophoresis. Electrophoresis is the process in which colloidal particles move towards oppositely charged electrodes. Here in a U-shaped tube, we have taken colloidal particles with Persian medium, and we are passing electric current. This side we have cathode, this side we have anode. And let us see what will happen when electric current is passed. The particles have moved towards anode. It means particles are negatively charged and they are attracted towards anode. They will get accumulated at anode. We can determine the charge with the help of electrophoresis. This process is called electrophoresis. First, we are going to take up what is equilibrium. Equilibrium represents the state of a process in which the properties like temperature, pressure, concentration of the system do not show any change with the passage of time. Now this process will occur, or equilibrium will be attained when rate of forward process is equal to rate of backward process. Now after the equilibrium is reached, the observable properties like temperature, color, density, pressure, concentration of system do not show any change with time. If the opposing processes involve only physical changes, the equilibrium is called physical equilibrium. That is, we have same substance in equilibrium but in different physical state. For example, water solid is in equilibrium with water liquid, or water liquid is in equilibrium with water gas. This type of equilibrium is called physical equilibrium. And if the opposing process involved are chemical reactions, then this equilibrium is called chemical equilibrium. So we have differentiated between physical equilibrium and chemical equilibrium. In physical equilibrium, we have different states of same substance, different physical states of same substance. Whereas in chemical equilibrium, we have chemical processes which take place in both the direction, that is forward direction as well as backward direction. The mixture of reactants and products at equilibrium is called equilibrium mixture. So it means that equilibrium mixture consists of reactants as well as products. Now, since the reversible reaction do not lead to completion, therefore some of the reactants will remain unreacted when equilibrium is reached. So they will not be able to change into products completely. So that's why we are taking the mixture of reactants and products at equilibrium. The equilibrium can be established from both physical processes and chemical reactions. As we have discussed that physical and chemical equilibrium, both types are possible. That is, equilibrium can be attained in the physical processes as well as in chemical processes. The reaction may be fast or slow depending upon experimental conditions and the nature of reactants.
Now you can see here how the water is moving through apoplastic pathway as well as through symplastic pathway. Root air, soil water, and then you have soil particles, inorganic ions, etc. This is the apoplastic pathway. This is the symplastic pathway. And here you can find the water is being absorbed both in apoplastic way as well as in symplastic way. Father of mycology is Anton de Barry. He worked out the life history of Puccinia graminis and concluded that it is a heteroecious fungus, means it is completing its life cycle on two hosts, that is wheat and barberry. This is infection on barberry and this is infection on the wheat.
We'll be just seeing a beautiful animation based on the process of digestion. You can see the alimentary canal begins with the oral cavity. The purple shaped stuff that you see is our food. From the oral cavity, food you see is entering into the pharynx. The soft palate gets elevated and the food passes into the esophagus. The food is now known as bolus. Food reaches the stomach. These are the rugae present in the stomach. From the stomach, food passes into the small intestine. It is now called chyme. This is the pyloric sphincter, which allows entry of the food from the stomach into the duodenum. This is how it moves in the small intestine. Starting with digestion in the stomach. As food enters the stomach, gastric juice is secreted by about 350 lakh gastric glands which are present in the stomach. The secretion of the gastric glands are stimulated by a hormone which is called gastrin. This gastrin hormone is secreted by the G cells present in the pyloric part of the stomach. In about 1.5 to 2 hours, gastric juice reaches its maximum amount. The gastric juice, which is also called the appetite juice, contains 99% water and 1% other substances. These other substances includes inorganic salts, mucus, HCl, pepsinogen, proranine, gastric lipase, intrinsic factor of Castle, and it has a pH of about 1 to 1.5. The total amount of gastric juice that is released in 24 hours is 1 to 3 liters.
Today we are going to study trigonometric equation. First we discuss about trigonometric equation. The equation involving trigonometric functions of unknown angles are known as trigonometric equation. For example, sin theta is equal to 0, cos square theta plus cos theta is equal to 2, cos square theta minus 4 sin theta is equal to 1 are trigonometric equations. Here unknown angles are theta here. Now what is solution of this type of trigonometric equation? A solution of trigonometric equation is the value of unknown angles that satisfy given equation. For example, sin theta is equal to 1 by root 3 is a trigonometric equation. Unknown angle is theta here. We know if sin theta is equal to 1 by root 2, then theta is equal to pi by 4. Or theta is equal to pi by 4, 3 pi by 4, 9 pi by 4 and 11 pi by 4. All the values of theta satisfy given equation. It means pi by 4, 3 pi by 4, 9 pi by 4 and 11 pi by 4 and so on are solution of this equation. The trigonometric equation may have infinite number of solutions. May be classified as first principal solution, second general solution. So what is principal solution? The solution of trigonometric equation lying in interval 0 to 2 pi is called principal solution. For example, sin theta is equal to 1 by 2. Sin theta equal to 1 by 2, we know principal solution of a trigonometric equation lie in between 0 and 2 pi. So sin theta is equal to 1 by 2. Sin theta equal to 1 by 2, it means 1 by 2 is positive value of theta here. So sin is positive in first and second quadrant. It means principal value of sin theta is equal to 1 by 2 lie in first and second quadrant. Or in first quadrant, if theta is pi by 6, then sin pi by 6 will be 1 by 2. Or in second, if theta is equal to 5 pi by 6, then sin pi by 6 is 1 by 2 also. It means pi by 6 and 5 pi by 6 are principal solution of this equation sin theta is equal to 1 by 2. Today we discuss some important questions for board examination. First, find the principal solution of equation sin x is equal to root 3 by 2. Sin x is equal to root 3 by 2. We want to find here principal solution of this equation. We know that principal solution lie in between 0 to 2 pi. Principal solution of equation lie in between 0 to 2 pi. So what will be principal solution of sin x is equal to root 3 by 2? We know that sin x is positive in first and second quadrant. So principal values of sin x lie in between first and third quadrant. So if sin x is equal to root 3 by 2, it means sin, this is value of sin 60 degree. It means sin pi by 3. Or x will be equal to pi by 3 is a principal value of this equation sin x is equal to root 3 by 2. But sin x lie in second quadrant positive also. So in second quadrant, sin x is equals to pi minus pi by 3 is equals to 3 pi minus pi by 3 or 2 pi by 3. It means principal solution of this equation sin x is equal to root 3 by 2 is pi by 3 and 2 pi by 3, because transfer solution lie in between 0 to 2 pi. So sin x is equal to root 3 by 2 is pi by 3 and 2 pi by 3 is its transfer solution.